Trip Planning Revisited, plus had a visitor in the truck here at my delivery in Spokane Valley, Washington, and more on this episode of
The Clutch Trucker Channel.
Clutch Trucker, filmed before a live and furry studio audience. That is Rusty, the world-famous meatball dog. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker Channel. Alright, here it is Monday, the 2nd of May, already into May. And I realized on the trip planning video, I was mainly showing you doing everything on the Garmin OTR 1000. And as much as I like the Garmin, it has limitations. There's other tools you need to use, so I thought we'd talk about some different stuff. Plus, yes, I had to alter my plan. As I said in that video, many times I make, 2, 3, sometimes even 4 plans. I just did the main one, but sure enough, I had to adjust on the fly. Saturday, driving across Nebraska, the winds were really bad. This load weighs about 20,000 pounds, which is, kind of heavy, but not really heavy. And anything over 30 miles an hour, I was at risk of blowing over. And the whole western part of Nebraska into Wyoming, the gusts were well over 50 and 60 miles an hour. So I shut it down at Alda and then started again early Sunday morning. So I had to readjust my plan. So I ended up I made it to Cheyenne, and then, since you can do the split sleeper berth as long as you show at least 2 hours, there's no maximum off duty, I was able to get some drive shocks for the truck at Sat Brothers, where they were a lot cheaper. We'll talk more about that later. And try to finally fix the last little remaining leaks in the upper box extension from the truck remodel. At the house, my wife had taken a list of stuff I needed to resupply the truck the previous day. So she did all the shopping and we reloaded the truck. So now I'm completely resupplied and all that. So I had to completely readjust the whole plan. So ended up then after I left Cheyenne then Sunday afternoon, I made it up to Sheridan, Wyoming, to the Common Sense. Great little place to park there, by the way. That's after I-25's ended. You're on 90 at that point. And stayed the night, just did an exact 10. Got back on the road this morning so I could try to make my delivery in Spokane Valley today before 2 p.m. And I'm on track to do that now. And this is why I'm doing the video part too, because I'm going up this pass on I-90 between Montana and crossing into Idaho. And this time of year, in the summer months or the warmer months, it's a very scenic, beautiful drive. But in the winter months, snow is stacked up all over the place. This can be a real hairy road. They throw the chain law up here all the time. It can get real nasty. But anyway, I thought it would be a good part to show you some video driving today. Can't go too fast because it's very curvy. But anyway, wanted to talk more about other tools I use. For one, the map, the Atlas. Gotta still use that. Mine's a few years old. I try to update it once every few years. But, sometimes the GPS is wrong and you need another, reference point. And like anything else, you use it as a tool. Also, there's Trucker Path, TruckerPath, that I use. It's an app on my phone because the Garmin OTR 1000, as much as I like it, does not have a lot of the small truck stops. Mainly only has the major ones. So if you want to find other places, possibly places to park, you can look them up on Trucker Path, and then you can usually still go back to the Garmin and look them up as just a fuel station and find them that way. A lot of times I'll look it up on Trucker Path, look at the address, and then look under that city in the Garmin under fuel stations and find the same one so I can still map out my trip. But yeah, like I say, the Garmin a lot of times doesn't have the smaller ones. Because a lot of times you'll just find little gas stations that happen to have 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 truck parking spots. And sometimes those are really good options. And so by the combination of using the Garmin, Trucker Path, your Atlas, these are all things you can use to help in your planning. And like I said in the last video, a lot of it is after being out here over 12 years now. I've been damn near everywhere. Kind of like that old Johnny Cash song, I've been everywhere, man. And I have. So many times I keep thinking, oh, I don't think I've been to this truck stop before, and I pull up and I'm like, oh yeah, I've been here before. Kind of crazy. But anyway, so all those things you use as tools. Another thing, my watch, and I'll show you a little close-up of that here. I like to have a watch that has at least 3 time zones always readily available, so that when I'm driving in that time zone, I can put that on my watch. I leave my clock here on my dash, and I'll show you a shot of that, always on Central Time, because that's the way I have to do my logs. They always have to be on the Central Time zone. And then, of course, my GPS will also always show me the current time. So I keep Mountain, Central, and Eastern time zones readily available on my watch. I can set in the Pacific if I need to, like I will today. But I don't tend to go that way quite as much. But that's why I want a watch that I can readily change to the 3 main time zones I'm in all the time. So we'll talk more about some of that coming up, and I'll tell you more about how I had to adjust the trip and how it's all working out. And meanwhile, let's just do some time lapse and show you the rest of going up and over this pass. I think this is Lookout Pass, and the other one that's in Idaho is 4th of July Pass. Not really all that high, but tends to get a lot of snow. Point out, for those of you who don't know, there is a technique to coming down a hill like this. If you look down at the bottom of the screen on the video, you'll see I'm only going about between 45 and 50 miles an hour. I've got my engine brakes going full bore, but still that's not enough to completely hold me back. You don't ride your brakes going all the way down the hill, and you shouldn't even do that in a car, although it's not as bad. But in a truck, you do something called stab braking, which is where you have the engine brakes going the whole time, and then about every few seconds you end up hitting your brakes, dropping down a few miles an hour, release, and then let the engine brakes just kind of keep coasting you along. But now we're getting down, we're almost to the bottom. But you keep doing that. You don't ride your brakes. If you ride your brakes, that's how you end up, getting them heated up. They start smoking. They can catch on fire and burn your whole trailer or your truck to the ground. So you don't want to do that. So, there's a little lesson for you, stab braking. Truckers, that's what you need to know if you're going over these kind of mountain passes. So right now, as I finish coming down Lookout Pass here, there's one more smaller pass that I've got to go over before I hit Coeur d'Alene, I think is how it's pronounced. I know I've got some subscribers who live just north of there in Idaho, and I'm sure they can correct me if I'm wrong. Over that pass, that was the 4th of July Pass. And we're going over the skinny part of Idaho right now. Then I'll head into Washington State and hit Spokane Valley, where I deliver. And then, like I say, I'm going to make it. I'll have an hour and a half left, so I'll make it about another hour and 15 minutes to a Love's in Ritzville, where I'll be parking for tonight. Just about another hour and 15 minutes, like I say, past that, using up most of my clock for today. Then from there it'll be a 4-hour drive tomorrow morning. Again, I'll have to leave early in the morning, probably like again about 4:30 Pacific. I guess 4:30 Mountain Time, 3:30 Pacific, so I can be there at 8 a.m. for the beginning of the window for the delivery in Fife, Washington. so that I can still get unloaded there and make it down the 2.5 hours to Portland to do my 2 deliveries, which are only 1 mile apart, which I think is really weird, in Portland, Oregon. And like I say, then again, I'll go find the TA there and fuel up for only $4.77, only $4.77 a gallon as opposed to $5.40. You know, let's save the 63 cents a gallon, because that can make a big difference. So now, through the magic of editing, I'm sure the next shot will be me parked at the Loves in Ritzville, Washington. What do you think? All right, yes, so here I am parked at the Loves in Ritzville, Washington. There was actually quite a few open spaces when I got here. I got a good spot right near the shop, so nobody can get to me. I'm not at the end of the road. There was a truck already to my left. I always try to find a space that I can't get blocked in at, and I also don't want to be on the end of the road. That's how you get your hood taken off. And I always try to be, you know, I don't care if I'm at the back of the lot. I'm looking for, I don't want to be blocked in. I don't want my hood taken off, and I try to find grass for Rusty. There's grass for Rusty behind this one here, so he's a happy dog. And this should be a good spot for the night. Something happened to my lights again. Look at this. Green works. Try to go to red, and only part of my C lights up. Same with the blue. I'm bummed. This is my second set. I guess they're just not made well, because they're made in China, as everything is. Not happy, Bob. Anyway, hey, something did make me happy today. One of my subscribers tracked me down and met me at my delivery in Spokane Valley. We got to meet Libby today. Okay, here we are in the truck, and we have a visitor. This is Libby from Northern Idaho. What town do you live in up there?
We live in a little burg called Athol.
Athol. How is that spelled?
A-T-H-O-L.
Okay.
And the joke is, be careful how you say it.
So, because people will know if you're not from the area, right? If you say it wrong.
Well, people want to sometimes put an E on the end of it, and it changes it.
Oh, right.
It sounds like
right. I gotcha.
You got it?
Oh, gotcha.
Oh.
Well, they tracked me down here at the migrant glass that I was delivering to in Spokane Valley, and came over and said hello. And I said, well, you know, come on, I'll take Rusty and put him by the fence, and you can come on in and take a tour. So here's Libby sitting on the Clutch Trucker couch there. So you got to see the remodel firsthand. You've been one of my subscribers and following me for a long time.
Yeah. This is really great.
So it's kind of like a little mini house. She even went up the steps there a little bit and peered upstairs to see that. So what do you think seeing it in person compared to the videos?
I think it's great. I think it's actually better in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a much better feel for it.
I know when I was just, you know, partially building it, that's what Tourette's Trucker, when he came by and saw it.
Yeah.
And he climbed upstairs and he said, yeah, it's much bigger, it seems, in person.
Yeah, I think so. I think it does it feels bigger.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Libby, thanks so much for coming by.
Well, thank you for letting us come in.
Gave her the whole tour of the truck and everything, and she said, which, you know, like Tourette's Trucker said when I was still in the middle of building this thing, it actually looks much more spacious and everything inside than it is on the videos. It's just really hard to tell on the videos, but so she was really impressed with it, and we got to chat with her for a little bit. Her husband, he didn't come in the truck, but he kind of hung out with Rusty while we were inside checking the truck out. So Libby, so nice to meet you. Thanks for tracking me down. That was kind of fun. I always love meeting subscribers and other people, so great talking with you, and thanks for our little meet greet. Okay, and before I forget, I did say I wanted to talk a little bit more about the shocks. Okay, because remember I was so hacked off the other day how it cost me $379 in change to do 2 steer shocks at that Freightliner in Huber Heights, Ohio, which I will never go to again. So as I was driving across and heading towards Cheyenne, Stapp Brothers in Cheyenne, I always trust them. Great place for owner-operators to go. Their prices are so much better. Now, I could have gotten the shocks maybe $20 cheaper at Freightliner if I bought them there myself. They were charging $80 a piece for them. But they only charge $35 a piece to put them on, where TAs and Petros charge $50. And as it turned out, that frickin' Freightliner charged me basically $100 per shock. So $397, or $379, got me, you know, the 2 shocks. Well, $520 got me 4 drive shocks installed. So what is that, $120, $140? $140 more. And I got 4 done. and they did it much quicker. I just got to check in when I got there early Sunday morning, and they got it done for me. So then I was able to run home, and Justin helped me try to finish patching up the box, and hopefully now we've covered any holes. We covered up all the screws that were up there. They had those little rubber washers on the bottom of them, but I thought, maybe still they weren't sitting evenly because the diamond plates there, and water was still getting in. That was my theory. So I covered those with that waterproof Gorilla Tape. I found a couple of holes that I had, we had misdrilled on, that I had covered with caulk the caulk had come off. So I covered those with the Gorilla Tape. So I'm hoping now my whole leak issue is complete and done. Let's just hope. Of course, it's just, there was a little bit of light rain when I parked at the Common Sense in Sheridan. Not enough to make a difference, and a little bit of light rain when I got here to Ritzville. So we haven't had a thorough test yet, but here's hoping. All right, so we talked more about the planning, and I talked to Ian again how about, fueling. You look ahead, you find out, and it's going to save me, 60 cents a gallon. If I had filled up here, we're talking, $60, $70 worth of a difference. That's money in your pocket, all right? So if you plan ahead, you can save some money that way. And I had to revise my trip like we talked about, but I was still able to make it work, still able to get to Spokane Valley today to deliver, so I can still do all 3 of the other ones tomorrow. The only difference is I couldn't get as close to Fife, Washington, where I would have had to reserve a spot at that TA that's a nightmare there in North Bend. And here I got this Love's with nice wider spots. I didn't have to reserve, didn't have to pay for it, and it's only a 4-hour drive in the morning, so I just got to get up early and chug on in, and we'll still get it all done. And Turquoise is already looking for another load for me to pick up. So like I say, after I deliver the other 2, I'm going to go fuel up, get the cheaper, at least for now, fuel, $4.77 a gallon, better than the $5.41 I just paid. Anywho. Well, I hope between the last trip planning video and this kind of follow-up that it gives you some more ideas of how to plan your trips, how to make everything work. Like I say, you got to use all your tools, your GPS, your map, and the Trucker Path app and stuff. Because, sometimes your GPS is wrong after all. They're not perfect. None of them are perfect. So use all the tools you have, and I use my fuel app, so I kind of do all this combined to get the best value, spend the least amount of money on fuel, find good places to park, yada yada yada. It's not just, a lot of people think we just jump in the truck and drive and then until we're done for the day and we stop. A lot of planning involved, and I'm constantly replanning and planning while I'm driving down the road all the time. If you want to be a good, successful truck driver, that's the way you have to do it. And like I say, I like having a watch with the 3 time zones on it, so I'm always at the time zone I'm in. And a lot of people I know say, well, why don't you just look at your phone? Well, I'm one of those people, I've always worn a watch, so I always look at my watch. And when I'm asleep upstairs and I wake up in the middle of the night, I want to see what time it is where I'm at right now. As I said in a video I did a long time ago, 10 things that truck drivers deal with that most people don't. We wake up in different time zones, and you got to wake up and see what time it is where you're at. Not to mention, sometimes our bed is rocking all night because it's windy. Boy, the other night I was having Stephen King dreams because of that. Sometimes we're leaning to the right, sometimes to the left. What if you walked into your bedroom at night and your bed's this way? And you had to sleep on it like that. And then it starts rocking. So, yeah, I want to be able to wake up and see where it is, what time zone I'm in. And that kind of gives me a clue as I'm half asleep trying to figure out where the hell I am. That's the other big fun. You may wake up and wonder, what time is it? We have to wake up also and wonder, where the hell am I? Oh, and I did completely run out my 11 today. When I got off the off-ramp here, I literally had 20 seconds left on my 11. It took a little bit longer to get here than I expected because I forgot that Washington State makes all trucks go 60. And yet you can buy pot here. Hello. Anyway, yeah, so 735 miles today. There you go, 735 miles. See, I started there at 5:30 this morning. This is Central Time, remember. And got parked here at 6 p.m. tonight, Central Time. 11 hours driving, right there. There you go. Yep, because that's the sleeper berth right there. All right, so plus 0.75 on duty, so yep, 11.75 on duty today, right there. Well, thanks for tuning in for that one. Kind of fun to have a visitor here in the truck. Yeah, that was neat for Libby to track us down. And you tolerated her. He doesn't tolerate new people too well, so, you know, anyway. But thanks for tuning in. As always, please subscribe, please like and comment. Get your comments as soon as I can. Sometimes takes 2 or 3 days because I'm a working truck driver. There's Clutch Trucker at Instagram, Clutch Trucker at Twitter. And as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and Rusty, out. There's no need to get snippy with me, sir. I'm just doing my job. All right, he sees it. He's begging for the begging strip. All right, well, here, we're going to stick it under there for you. Can you go get it into your little hiding hole there? No, you just bring it back out, though. That's cheating. Where are you going? You're a meatball, Rusty. Making quick work of that begging strip. I have one short little piece left for you. Can you just come get this one? Oh, yeah, there you go. Happy dog.